This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I am recording this standing up on 2 feet.
Yeah, well, and to be clear, you're not in the same room with me right now. That would be weird if I was sitting down and you were standing up.
I don't know. I think in many offices there are people, we're coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
There are people sharing a space, and one of them is a lazy bones like you sitting down in their ergonomic desk chair because, my back. Oh, I need a special chair for my back. And then people like me are just like, hey, I'm at a standing desk because, I'm not
because
I'm not
back.
full of drama. I don't have all this dramatic, like I need a special chair. I don't need any chair.
You need a special
up.
desk then.
What do you mean?
You need a standing desk if you're going to stand at your desk. Otherwise, everything's too low.
It's a tall desk, though.
Yeah,
it's not
a standing desk, it sounds
it's
like.
It's not like, ooh, we're going to support your lumbar. Oh, we're going to, this needs to be soft on your delicate bum. We have the softest bum material.
Do you have a standing desk that isn't that tall, so you're just kind of like hunched over all day?
No, it's fine. It's just a taller desk for tall people like me, Tom. It's not.
That was going to be my other concern. Is it too tall for you?
Sometimes
Can
I've
you
been on
even
a
see
standing
over
desk.
it?
No, I used to have a standing desk that had one of the it could be low and high, and you had to crank it manually with the big crank.
Yeah,
so
one of those old-fashioned standing desks.
And it's like, it's nice because it's like, I have an email job, but I also get to pretend I like working in an old factory doing manual labor
for 5 seconds a day.
Well, I would go up and down a lot every 2 or 3 minutes. I would change it from standing to sitting to standing.
Right. Well, you
have
can
ADD
get comfortable
too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, Tim. I showed up at my apartment for recording this week, unlike some people.
Yeah. I'm in a whole different state, and what are you going to do? A state of euphoria, by the way, just to...
Yeah, I know. Everybody's very concerned about you. You haven't been responding to texts. Yeah, it's hot in my apartment. You're not missing out on that.
Well, I'm glad. That's why I didn't show up. I thought it might be.
Oh, is that why?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you went all the way to another state just to, have a cover for it. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, just have a good excuse.
Well, next time, if you know it's going to be hot in my apartment because I made a hot dinner, just let me know.
Wait, you made a hot dinner as in like you used the oven
just
or
because
much... it was spicy?
No, it was like the combination of the oven and the stove going multiple burners and like long things. The soup.
You made
and then
soup?
the soup was pretty hot.
Night?
Yeah.
Oof.
So you gotta deal with the cards you're dealt.
I gotta admit,
were dealt
Tom,
the soup cards.
I used to be one of these guys who was just like, all these people who complain about like, we're gonna have a lighter dinner because it's the summertime and it's hot, and I don't want to like heat up the whole house with the oven. I've always been
all
like,
these people that complain.
People do that all day, like it's a normal thing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've always been like, how much does that actually? It makes a difference. If you're turning on an oven to like 400 degrees, you have something that's 400 degrees in your home.
Yeah, and it's 400 degrees for like a half hour or more. Like,
yeah. No, that's gonna make a difference.
It's gonna wreak havoc.
It is. So
I don't.
I renounce my previous stance.
Wow,
where I didn't give these people grace. Yeah,
you're a big man, Tim, and I'm sure those people
it all the time.
Appreciate it. Tim, this week, speaking of cooking things.
Yeah. Master chefs. A couple master chefs here.
Yeah. I thought we'd talk about pasta.
Yeah, this is a Tom topic.
Yeah. Even though
you
I famously
hate Italians.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm actually not like a huge pasta guy.
You're not a fan of Italians either. That's what in all seriousness. I read a very good article about Tony Danza today.
Oh, in the New York Times, I read that too.
About his apartment. It was. Do you want to go see? It's all in support.
Suggest to you.
All right,
we should go to this show.
Tony Danza goes. They write this up in the New York Times. I don't know how they're devoting resources.
It was like a interactive web thing too. It wasn't just like a
photo essay,
print only article.
Yeah, about Tony Danza's.
Earlier in the month, they must have had a big meeting at the New York Times. All right, everybody, all hands on deck. We're doing an article about Tony Danza's medium-sized apartment that he has in New York City.
It's surprisingly small for a primary residence. Makes me think that maybe he wasn't the boss after all.
Well, he talks in the article about how he bought it during the Tony Danza show.
Yeah, he had a talk show like 20 years ago.
Yeah, he had a talk show. I think he said for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Before it was canceled, and that he lived in LA, he had a house, and then he bought this apartment just so he had a place to live in New York, which totally makes sense. Mm-hmm. And he's just kept it. But there was one line that said something like, after Mr. Danza's recent divorce, he had to sell his house. Or second divorce, yeah. So I think that's why Mr. Danza is living in a fairly small apartment.
Yeah,
I mean, in a nice area, not a cheap apartment by any means.
It's a lovely
multi-million-dollar apartment. Yeah, it's nicer than
kitchen,
my apartment.
I have a nicer kitchen than Tony Danza does. And
yeah,
he's just
it wasn't.
And that's the other thing. It's I only cook with air fryers because somebody broke the gas line 10 years ago, so they had to turn off the gas for a month. And then I bought these air fryers.
And never went back.
Yeah. And
don't get me wrong, I have an air fryer and I love it, but I don't know. I still need a stove. I
don't know that Tony Danza's doing that much of his own meal prep.
What about when he's making the sauce?
He's not making that in an air fryer.
I know. He's got to make it on a stove, but he doesn't have that anymore, it sounds like.
Anyway, the reason they're doing this...
a 2-basket air fryer, too, which I was like, come on, what do you do? How much are you air frying?
The stars, they're not just like us, Tom. Yeah,
I know.
But Tony Danza is doing a cabaret-style show where he sings
salute
to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, to the chairman of the board. But Tim, they're all new arrangements. It's not just going to be...
He's not trying to imitate the chairman of the board. I was going to say the boss. What would be good is Tony Danza singing Frank Sinatra songs as Bruce Springsteen.
That could work. I could see it.
Yeah.
He apparently was friends with Frank Sinatra.
He
was friends because they met on the set of Cannonball Run 2.
Yeah. That's where most people meet.
Most big stars. And apparently they just hit it off. And they asked him to be on Who's the Boss.
You know what was also striking about this New York Times article that we both read about Tony Danza? When he was talking about when he was they just print curses in the newspaper now.
Oh, Tim, why did you go back to the newsstand, man? I demand my money back.
No, I just think it's funny that in this puff piece, here's what Tony Danza's apartment looks like.
Great press for his upcoming show.
Yeah, but he's like,
he sold at least 2 tickets.
I was sitting with Frank Sinatra at 2 a.m. and he was smoking and drinking. And I was like, Frank, aren't you worried about your voice? And he told me, I haven't met a singer worth shit who doesn't smoke 2 packs a day. But they just print shit in the newspaper. They don't do it's not a prudish thing. I don't care. But I feel like 10 years ago, they would have not printed shit in the New York Times in that way, right?
Yeah, it's probably Joe Brandon's fault.
Probably. Well, no, I think it is like they had to like at some point accurately print what the president was saying, and they had to be like. And
sometimes that included curse words.
This is a weird curse. It's a curse used in the wrong way, but like we're gonna have to print it because you won't know that like the word shit usually isn't used in this fashion. So
yeah.
Shit in the newspaper.
I
anyway,
think it might have been the Sunday Times too. Sunday, the bosses, they're all at home in bed, and anything goes. True. That's why the Sunday Times is famous.
Anyway, we're talking about pasta.
Yeah.
Which Tony Danza isn't making a lot of at home.
No, he's probably ordering out or going to Elaine's. What are your feelings about pasta?
I'm pro pasta. I always have been, always will be. I know you're not a carbs guy. I'm a carbs guy.
I mean, I like carbs. I mean, people have written in for years telling me like I need to get checked that I probably have like a gluten allergy or something.
Yeah. But then you tried to cut them out and you got gout. Yeah,
exactly. So, who am I to believe? Who truly has my best interest at heart? Which group of listeners? Yeah. But I think I've always leaned more towards bread than pasta. And I know when I was a little kid, probably for too long, I was, a buttered noodles kid. I didn't like it a sauce.
I was never a buttered noodles kid. I was like a buttered noodles guy as a young adult. But I was always fine.
Once you were old enough to make your own decisions.
Yeah, once I was like, put a little bit of butter on this and some Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
You mix it all up. That's great. But yeah, no, I was a sauce and noodle man. And I like the sausage on the side or a meatball on the side.
That's another thing. I'm not a big sausage or meatball guy either.
What?
Yeah, I don't
in
really
general?
like. Yeah, in general.
You don't like a sausage and peppers?
Not really. I'm not a big peppers guy.
You don't like a sausage and peppers at Yankee Stadium?
No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I will have one.
You know what the stand is called? It's called Sausage Etc. I mean, this was the old Yankee Stadium. And it was right near us. And it was called Sausage Etc. But all I had was sausage. Well, that's sausage and peppers. I guess the peppers were the etc.
Yeah, the peppers were the etc. Or that's just how you get people in the door.
Yeah. I think it was. I think most people were there for the sausage. We just ran out of
the other stuff. Yeah, maybe it's just nobody ever asked.
I was like, I don't know, 10 years old, eating a sausage and peppers the size of my head. I don't know how my parents allowed that, but they did.
That's probably the best age to eat that at. I mean, if you ate that now, it would probably destroy you for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
But as a kid, it's like, great, more energy. I do like it in at like a ball game or at like a carnival or a fair or something. I'm not above getting a sausage and peppers then, I guess.
All right. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Glad you're not above it.
Do you have well, I'm not going to ask all your opinions yet. We got to leave a little something on the table, right?
Yeah, sure. Pasta is a type of food typically made from an unleavened dough of wheat flour mixed with water or eggs and formed into sheets or other shapes, and then cooked by boiling or baking. Tom, don't you think it's a little ridiculous, though? When you go to the grocery store and it's like, oh, here's 10,000 shapes of the same fucking flour and water mixture. Right, where it's like we don't need this.
Yeah,
like, let's choose three. Let's choose three that we're all gonna do.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I've gone to the supermarket looking for a particular shape of pasta and sometimes not been able to find it.
That's true, but you can usually find one that's like, it's pretty much the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Yeah,
except you know what'll always happen, Tom? They'll always have it in like they'll be like, oh, that's the shape I need, and then it's in like some like weird gluten-free version, or it's like, oh, this is actually made like with spinach instead of It's like, come on, get out of here with this shit. They should outlaw that, right? First and foremost, the administration.
You're talking about like regular pasta.
Yeah, enough. If you have a gluten intolerance, don't eat pasta. Like, find something else to do with your time. Stop wasting our shelf space.
I got some gluten-free like pretzels recently.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible. And like I couldn't even really tell you why. It's like when you're eating it, it's like, yeah, this like everything's here, kind of.
Yeah, it's ticking the boxes technically. But like, what are we doing here?
And I'm not even a big pretzel guy.
No, the reason why I can deal with stuff like that is because like I don't like, like dry pretzels. Like it's always like a hummus delivery.
You like them wet.
I like them wet. I soak them 6 to 8. I soak them overnight. Like when you like need to like cook chickpeas or something.
Yeah, and then you drain them.
Yeah,
and then you got a nice mush to eat.
You know what I mean? Like
it's much safer.
I could probably eat like hummus or dip off of a cardboard pretzel and be like,
I'm not
that's here for
true.
The pretzel.
These pretzels were like, they were seasoned. They were honey mustard or whatever, one of those things, which I thought would be enough, to overpower everything.
Nope. Gotta wet those guys up, Tom.
But I will say, as somebody that's like not a big pasta person, I'm fine with all that bullshit pasta that you hate.
Really?
I will.
I guess for the same reason I'm okay with those pretzels, because you're just gonna smother it in something. Right?
Yeah, like I'm okay with the like veggie pasta or whatever. Like
that's okay.
The green ones.
Yeah, I get that sometimes.
But even that stuff, like I've never actually checked the box to see like, is this actually something, or did you guys basically just dye these green? And I'm an idiot for buying and thinking like, oh, I'm getting my vegetables now too. Because it really doesn't make sense that there could be that many vegetables.
No, there's no vegetables in there. Especially when you like hear the things.
Full of dry noodles.
And you hear those things about how like when you buy whole wheat bread, it's basically like, no, they basically still take the whole grains out of it, but like they just dye it brown.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like a grainy bread, but one of my that's like a pet peeve of mine. I hate the like just plain whole wheat that's like white bread, because it just it's like this just tastes like bad white bread.
Yeah, and it's got the same nutritional profile. Tom, we're a couple of guys that are really concerned with our macros, right? We're always trying to get our macros.
Yeah, macros, micros. Neutral.
Everything in between,
yeah. Tim, I was reading about how pasta dates back to ancient times, with evidence suggesting that the Etruscans, I don't know who those were, who lived in what is now Italy, were making a pasta-like dish as early as the 4th century BC, 400 years before Jesus showed up.
Wow. And I thought it was invented by Jesus. So Jesus was eating spaghetti and meatballs?
Yeah, Tim, somebody probably brought Jesus a plate of spaghetti and meatballs, and he's like, oh my God, my dad, this is great. And they said, oh, this has been around for 400 years.
Yeah.
You're not the Christ.
You're not so great.
Guards, seize this man.
If he knew about pasta, and they were eating pasta,
you don't think he did?
Well, if he did, like, why is he coming back, like, in that dry wafer? Why wouldn't he be like, every Sunday at Mass, eat a big spaghetti, and that'll turn into me inside your body?
I think probably, just logistics of having the priest cook that much spaghetti every week.
What else is the priest doing?
Yeah, but sometimes
if you ask me, it's probably better if you keep the priest busy with like cooking.
Yeah.
Those guys get bored. I'm not a big fan of what they're doing with their free time.
Idle hands are the devil's tool. But yeah, it's a long time. There are over 600 different shapes of pasta, each designed to hold sauce in a unique way. That's what allows the diversity of dishes. But you're saying get rid of it.
You know what? I say that, but then it's like, what would I get rid of? Like, I wouldn't get rid of a spaghetti.
Yeah. Right.
And then there's a linguine, which I think would fall into if we were just going to have three shapes. Like, you couldn't have spaghetti and linguine, but I think they both need to be there. And then you have angel hair, and I need that too. So that's three right there.
Angel hair? Angel hair is kind of gross.
It's delicate.
I used to like angel hair when I was a kid, I think.
Yeah.
And nowadays it kind of skeeves me out.
Yeah, I think because you think it's actual hair. You think it's actual hair of an angel?
Yeah, it's too little, not little, thin.
Too
I
little,
guess.
too late.
If you had to eliminate all but 3 types of pasta, what would you eliminate?
Yeah. What would I keep?
Maybe we'll have to do that later when we go through all the different types.
Yeah.
We're not going through all the different types, but
we're going through every single one.
This is going to be the longest episode. Yeah, we got 600 types of pasta, and most of it's going to be, I don't know. I've never heard of this one.
There was a really
kind of looks like spaghetti.
There was a good series on the podcast, The Sporkful. Not that I don't think
I was wondering if you were
going
to bring this up.
And he created his own,
the
host of that, Dan Pashman. And I bought that. I was day one, Cascatelli.
Cascatelli, yeah.
It was cool. It was cool.
So this is
it held the sauce well.
He was trying to create basically like the perfect pasta shape.
Right.
And from what I was reading, it was like, it has to like hold sauce, but it has to be like easy to get with a fork and also have like a satisfying bite to it.
Right.
Because I think that's my problem with angel hair, that it's like, it's not
it's like mush kind of by the time it gets to you. Yeah.
As you're biting, it's like moving out of the way instead of allowing itself to be bit. That's the way I think about food.
It's just always you against food, or do you just want food that like will submit itself to you?
Yeah, exactly. Is that such a big deal? Tim, you'll never guess which country eats the most pasta.
You want me to say Italy?
Yeah,
because it is Italy.
Yeah, it's Italy, of course. Yeah. It's Italy.
I don't know. I would think like the U.S. I think like
maybe in I don't know. I think Italy might. Was
this a per capita number?
I don't know the number that I'm looking. I saw that it said Italy was, and I said, yeah.
I bet they didn't do any research into that. They're just like
nobody's ever actually checked. Just assumed. But this says that Italy consumes on average 600 million kilometers of spaghetti per year.
That means nothing.
And it said, well, listen to this, though. It said that they do it Lady and the Tramp style.
Ooh, with, they're always sloppy kissing each other.
One person on one end is 600 million kilometer long spaghetti.
Wow. And that's all the spaghetti. That's the only spaghetti that's eaten. Just
that's enough
people once a year.
Yeah. That's enough to wrap the planet 15,000 times.
None of this makes any difference.
Yeah,
it's like, did you know if you stacked all the Big Macs that they ate, it will go to the moon and back? I don't know what that means. Nothing to me.
Yeah, it kind of. You know what? I think there needs to be maybe a new rule.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know
Stop
who would
telling,
be...
like... Stop telling us how long stuff is.
No, stop telling us how long or tall stuff is until somebody does it with at least one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
stack all those Big Macs to the moon.
Yeah, if somebody stacks Legos to the moon or around the planet, fine. Then you can tell me how much yarn is made every year. But otherwise, I have no frame of reference.
Yeah.
Stack
and you could just
one
be like,
thing to the moon. That's all I'm asking.
And also, like, that would go around the Earth 15 times. Would that be just as believable if it was like, that goes around the Earth almost one time? You'd be like, it still seems like a lot of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Or if it was like, that would go around the Earth 650 times, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a lot of spaghetti. Like, that's all that boils down to.
I mean, they said it would wrap 15,000 times around the Earth. And that's
15,000? Oh, I thought it was 15.
15,000.
See, like, yeah, but 15 also sounds plausible to me. Because it's just like, yeah, that's pretty big too.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, wow, 15,000 times. I wish I had a frame of reference for even one time.
Yeah.
I wish just somebody,
stop me.
Some government organization or something, just string something like that. Just wrap a string around the whole world once, and then, like, once it's done, put it in a big pile somewhere.
Yeah, put it on the White House lawn where we can all see
where
it.
anyone can go look at it.
Yeah.
And say, oh, okay. Oh, wow, that is a lot of spaghetti. I didn't think it was that much, but wow, all right.
A ton of spaghetti.
According to scientists, Tim, the carbohydrates in pasta can increase the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter believed to heighten feelings of happiness. So basically, they're saying pasta, which from an evolutionary standpoint would make sense, that when we were living out on the plains or whatever, if you like happen to get a lot of carbohydrates, it makes sense that our evolution would be like, yeah, idiot. Great. Next time you see these, remember how it felt and eat more of them. That is the only way you'll survive to the ripe old age of, 15.
This might surprise you, but I feel similarly about all that stuff, where it's like the stuff that you like releases a chemical in your brain that makes you happy. Like, yeah, no shit. It's because I like it. And like, yeah, it's like, sure,
I thought you guys, like, once you figure it out that, like, a chemical gets released, couldn't you just use, like, the transitive property, be like, that must be, it happens in a bunch of situations.
Yeah, when people like something, it's the brain chemical that makes them like things is released.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I guess cavemen probably weren't getting much spaghetti. I wonder if anybody ever accidentally made spaghetti, like a long, long time ago, like 100,000 years ago.
Probably.
What do you mean, probably? Tomato sauce, Tim. I got another fact here about tomato sauce I'd like to share with you.
It's not pasta, though.
Although pasta is often paired with tomato sauce today, tomatoes were not introduced to Europe until the 16th century, long after pasta had become a staple. Did you know that?
Say it again. Tomato sauce. Oh, right.
Tomatoes.
Right. Yeah.
Europe didn't have tomatoes until the 16th century.
Right. I think I did know that.
Yeah.
So yes, I am very smart. I was aware of that fact. You can't pull one over on me, old Tim.
I guess they were just eating their pasta dry then or something.
Butter.
Yeah. A lot of people before the 16th century were very picky eaters. That's why they've since gone extinct. Tim?
Yes, Tom.
I want to talk about different types of pasta. Do you have a favorite type of pasta? Because honestly, I was looking through like pasta facts and like the history of pasta. It's pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's just freaking flour and water and sometimes eggs.
Yeah, and then you boil it.
Yeah.
And then I found something that said al dente means in Italian to the teeth. But then I put it in Google Translate and it translated al dente to al dente.
Did you have it going? Did you have it going from Italian to Italian?
No, I had it going from Italian to English, and it just said al dente, which makes sense because probably if you're looking for a translation, I guess then you wouldn't know what al dente means in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like you're following a recipe in Italian, and you're like, there are 2 words here I don't understand. Let me put them in Google Translate to see what they are.
I thought al dente was a guy's name, an Italian guy.
Yeah, the inventor of spaghetti, al dente.
Yeah, you liked
hey,
it.
You like the
not
spaghetti?
Too soft.
You could thank me, al dente.
You ever buy the fresh pasta, not in the box?
Like refrigerated pasta, or
yeah, but like
from
a pasta store or whatever, like an Italian market.
Yeah, I don't, but I remember as a kid, we would get ravioli from like an Italian, like a real, Italian place that just sold Italian
stuff, Italian flags,
Italian flags, Mario Brother games,
IROCs.
They had it.
Yeah.
But I believe those were still dried.
But
they were cheese ravioli. But yeah, they were like made there, and I remember they were amazing.
Yeah, I remember that. Whenever I've had it, it's been amazing. But then I read an article in slate.com or something that was just like, hey, not so fast.
Yeah,
fresh pasta
that thing
isn't
you like.
Yeah, exactly. Here's why, like, objectively, it's not good. And they're like,
it'll kill
everybody
you. And
likes,
it's made by slaves.
Everybody likes al dente, and you can't get fresh pasta al dente because it starts off soft and then you just boil it for a few seconds.
It's true.
And I was like, joke's on you, slate.com. I don't even really like it al dente. Who wants hard pasta?
I feel like al dente is a very, there's like a very thin area you have to aim for to get al dente right. Because it's not supposed to be like hard.
It's supposed to be like very crunchy, right?
It's not
like stale potato chips.
It's supposed to have like a satisfying bite, but if you take it out too early, it could be hard. And if you take it out too late, then it's going to be all mushy like your pretzels.
Yeah. Well, I'd prefer it mushy to crunchy.
Yeah. Me too. But at the same time, like, I don't know, you just take a strand out of the pot and you try it and you see if it's ready or not.
You throw it up against the wall.
Yeah. What's it? Does that
No,
work?
it's a myth. That's a myth, Tom. That's an old wives' tale.
Okay. But the idea was
some old wives were mistaken.
The idea was you could, if you threw the pasta and it stuck to the wall, that meant it was al dente. It was perfect.
Or if it didn't stick to the wall, one or the other. Nobody knows.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. You remember those octopuses you could throw at like the refrigerator, and then they
were supposed to climb down.
Yeah, and it was like only once in a while did it work right.
Yeah. But the one time I did see it work right, it was cool. You threw it at the refrigerator, huh? I think we were just throwing it at the wall.
Yeah.
Was your mom just like, that's gonna leave a streak on the wall?
Yeah. It was like you can throw it against the refrigerator.
Can I ask you one more thing about when you're cooking something?
Well, the refrigerator has like an enamel coating. You can just wipe it off.
I agree. Yeah. Tom, well, maybe all the walls in my house had enamel coatings. You don't know.
I do. I mean, I've been to your family's home, so.
Maybe my dad's a dentist and he had a lot of enamel. that he took from his patients.
He didn't want my friends knowing as a teenager, so he put up fake walls every time he came over. And actually, our house was much bigger.
Yeah. When you
were
out,
only in the center of every room.
There's a good 8 inches between the actual walls.
Yeah. You know how you always complain? Yeah, you always complain that the hallways were claustrophobic. Well, guess what, idiot?
They were normal hallways. They were just. My dad didn't want you to know about the enamel walls. So it was a lot more normal of a house.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I apologize.
When you take one piece of spaghetti out, to see if it's right, here's the problem:
it's al dente.
It's so hot, right? Because you put it in your mouth, you go and like you can't judge at that point because it's too hot. So you have to put it.
It's also like kind of. It's tricky to grab sometimes.
Yeah, but then you like lay it out and like you're like, I'm gonna cool it off and then I'll try it, and then you try it. The whole time, even if it's perfect, the whole time it's been cooling off. The rest of it has been boiled to shit in the pot.
Well, I mean, you have to like lay it out to let it cool off. Come on.
Just for a minute.
For a minute. Just taste it. It's fine. Do this. Wave your hand at it.
This is my problem with all of cooking.
Going.
When they're all like, "Ooh, be sure to taste and season as you go." Yeah. Like, and it's like, no, it's too hot. I burn my tongue whenever I do that. I'll just guess.
Nuts?
I'll just guess how much salt should be in there, and I'm usually right.
Yeah. I don't like a ton of salt and stuff, or at least I don't think I do, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. You're a guy who, before we started recording, you were talking about how like McDonald's hamburgers are better than all other hamburgers. Yeah. I got news for you, Tom. You do like a lot of salt.
I think that's what it is, that I just don't realize that, so I don't use a lot of salt when I'm cooking.
You don't like a lot of like dry table salt on something after it's cooked. But I'm not a big salter. You season at every step, then you don't need to salt it at the end.
Yeah.
But also, you're supposed to taste it every time you're seasoning it, and it's just too fucking hot to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I always mean to. I always want to. And then often I'll cook, a meal that took me like an hour to make, and I'm like plating it when I think, I don't know if this tastes right or not. I have no idea. Why did I not like taste it a little bit during certain steps?
It's freaking hot. You burn your little tongue, and then you wouldn't be able to enjoy the meal when it's done.
Yeah. But I mean, in that case, I guess it wouldn't matter if the pasta was overcooked or not. I couldn't tell.
Well, Tom, that's the sick thing about it. You would be able to tell the texture, but you wouldn't be able to tell the taste.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 10 most popular types of pasta. the
shapes.
Popular.
We're talking shapes.
The shapes. Right? Yeah, because I'm not talking about ravioli. I think. I mean.
Oh, wait, so you're not on Pitco.com?
Petco.com?
Pitco. Pitco.com.
What is that?
I don't know, but this says posted by Pitco on October 4th, 2019. Top 10 pasta shapes in the United States. If so, he has a logo about his name. Oh, and on the side, there's one of these boxes that says, you can ask for help. Hi, I'm JC. How can I assist you? One of these boxes that's on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that whenever I go to a website.
Yeah, I like that. Like, there's a thing that you can't click away from.
Starts a chat with me.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you liking the website? It's like, I'm trying to use the web. Get out of here. I don't know. I don't have questions.
There was a like tech product that I don't want to give too many details about it. I was mildly interested in a while ago, like a new thing, not like an expensive thing, like a $150 thing that I like joined a Discord server for, because it was like, join our Discord to like follow product updates. They were doing like a Kickstarter and all that kind of stuff. And I like joined it and then promptly forgot about it. The thing came out. I lost interest and just like didn't really think about it. And then one day I get a DM on Discord from like the CEO of that company. He's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" It's like, "Good. How are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing pretty good." And I was like, "Can I help you with something?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just messaging random people to see what they think of the product." I was like, "Oh," I left the server and everything. Yeah, well,
I'll never engage in any way with you or your business ever again.
you tried to talk to me and see what my needs were as a customer. Get the hell out of here!
I mean,
you psychopath.
That's cool, but like, I think 90% of the time, am I unique in this way, or is this? Do I feel the way that everybody feels? 90% of the time, I don't want anybody talking to me about anything. Like, in life, much. Right? Yeah. Like, loved ones, coworkers, friends. Like, it's just like, all of you are great, but like most of the time, I just don't want to engage with anybody. It's nothing personal about anybody. It's just, just don't want. I don't want engagement.
Yeah, it's like it's going to take energy to have this conversation with this person. About like a product I haven't bought that I'm not interested in. I'm gonna have to like tell him why I'm not interested. When meanwhile it's like, I could like text a friend I haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna do that.
But it would probably be about the same amount of effort. And if I'm not gonna do it for that, I'm certainly not gonna do it for this random guy.
Yeah. Anytime anybody tries to talk to me, I'm just like, I get all my talking out once a week for an hour with my idiot friend. That's all the interaction. That's all the human interaction I can tolerate in a week.
Well, I remember years ago you talked about wanting to get a coffee mug that said something like, "Don't talk to me, listen to my podcast."
Yeah.
Something that would have been completely psychotic to have.
I bet that you could sell a good amount of that to creators. Don't talk to me, listen to my podcast instead.
Yeah, it's good for networking and stuff. You can carry that mug around on the street. But I want to hear your, it sounds like the top 10 list you have is more official. It's from Pitco.
Yeah, what I just learned about Pitco is I clicked on the little thing on the side of the website that was like, how can I assist you? And all you can do is choose from, it's not even a chat.
Oh.
Like it has the trappings of a chat, but you have to choose from a thing. Pitco, the Pitco name has its roots dating back to 1918 when J.C. Pittman made an important discovery. Learn more about us and our frying legacy. Why choose Pitco, you ask? We make the best fryers in the world and are committed to high quality. I don't see what this has to do with. Yep, and now there's pictures of like fryer baskets, and it says the choice is yours. I don't know.
How do they know? How do they know anything?
You don't fry pasta.
They're probably putting disinformation about pasta out there to try and get people to eat more fried food. This
is bullshit, man. I'm sorry. I've wasted all of our time. You want to know what the top two are?
Is it like French fries and chicken nuggets?
No. They know what they're doing. They know that they know what pasta is. But the number one shape is spaghetti. Sure. Number two, macaroni. Come on. Yeah. Isn't macaroni...
that's what I have on my list too, though.
I thought macaroni can be a number of different shapes, though.
Nah, I believe the full name would be elbow macaroni.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I think most people, I think you'd probably be hard pressed to find non-elbowed macaroni. So I think that's why most people just shorten it to macaroni.
Okay. Well, I gotta. All right. What?
It's popular,
Tom? I don't have
baked pasta dishes.
What?
Very popular. Macaroni.
Yeah, I've been making I've been making a lot of mac and cheese lately, Tom. It's good.
Yeah,
mac and cheese. I mean,
that's the best pasta by far, right?
But what about a puttanesca?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mac and cheese. I mean, if somebody
came
pasta.
to you and said, you can have one of two things: the best plate of spaghetti you've ever had, or the best bowl of macaroni and cheese you've ever had, which would you take?
I mean, either way, I win, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it's the best ever, I like both those
It's
things.
like the opposite of Alien versus Predator.
Right. Whoever wins, we win.
No, we lose.
No, in this case,
you win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about AVP, and I thought maybe you had forgotten it. I'm glad to hear you haven't.
Is one of them? Is it a trick though? Is like one of them poisoned and we don't know?
No, I'm saying it's a normal.
The spaghetti or the mac and cheese?
Yeah.
What situation?
Which would you take?
Why is this man telling me this? Oh, it's a hypothetical. I see.
You're at like a fancy restaurant and it's your birthday. And the chef comes out and he shakes your hand like maybe a little too hard. And he's like, "Oh, Mr. Tim, I'm so happy it's your birthday and you've come here to celebrate with me and my family." That's what he calls everybody that works in his kitchen. And he's like, "Just for you, for your birthday, I'm going to make the best spaghetti or the best macaroni and cheese you've ever had. I'm not going to make both."
And it's not just this guy isn't talking out of his ass. Like,
no,
is,
like somebody
God
else
there
comes
to
up
verify
behind
that, like, I'll be able to, like, verify that, like, whatever he makes this will actually be the best.
Right after he says it, two old Italian women are leaving the restaurant and they kiss him on both cheeks and they say, "That was the best spaghetti I've ever had." And then the other one says, "That was the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had."
I need some old Italian lady. I have nothing in common with an old Italian
I'm
lady.
just saying but then right after, some like Gen Z cool kids, they come and they say the same thing.
Yeah. Oh,
so now
like,
it's like, all right,
my peers,
well,
my exact peers say that. Yeah.
Objectively, all four of these people can't be wrong.
Right. And God also vouches for it, right? We're also saying.
Yeah, I know you won't do anything unless God vouches for it lately, but fine. Yeah,
it's
God vouches for it.
It's just part of my new outlook, Tom. I would choose the...
People don't know that before every episode, I have to talk Tim down for like a half hour. He's like, "But is God going to be okay with it?" I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Then you have to always like point me to some like verse in Leviticus that like I interpret as.
And I'm like, he's talking about podcasting.
In support. I would take the mac and cheese.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And then I'd go hang out with my Gen Z friends.
I might be tempted to get the spaghetti.
Yeah, because you're like, how good could it be? I could also, like, even bad mac and cheese is fine, so I don't need the best I've ever had.
I feel like I've not had a problem of, like, finding good mac and cheese.
Right.
I've probably had what I thought at the time was the best macaroni and cheese I've ever had multiple times.
I don't rank things that way. Do you think about that when you're eating something? Like, where does this rank against the other, like, corn on the cobs that I've had in the past?
but I think I'd like to start.
It seems like too much work.
I mean,
seems like a Bill Simmons way to go through life, just being like, I need the definitive ranking on everything that happens.
I'm trying to live my life like I'm Moneyball. I want everything to be perfectly optimized.
That's a good way to go through life. I'm trying to live my life like The Big Short.
You're just shorting everything?
Yeah. And I'm going to be one of those guys that like saw the thing that nobody else saw.
Yeah. I'm just thinking you're like going to buy coffee and you're like, oh, sorry, I'm a little short. And they're like, it's fine. No, just pay us back tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I don't. I never do. Next day, short again.
And that's how that guy got rich in the movie.
What's your favorite type of pasta, Tom? Your shape. Talking shapes.
I mean, would you consider ravioli pasta?
Yeah, I would consider it pasta, but also it's cheating because there's stuff in it. What shape are we talking about that doesn't have cheese stuffed in it?
Well, now another question: would you consider gnocchi pasta in this situation?
Potato, Tom. Generally,
yeah, but it's still pasta, isn't it?
I don't know. Not by the. Yeah, I guess so. Sure.
But not
like,
by our
I'm talking
definition.
about like wheat flour.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is I don't really care. I think I like bow ties.
Bow ties are too hard.
Too fancy.
No, they're like you can't get like I don't know, it's annoying on your fork.
Yeah, they are slippery little buggers.
Yeah. You have to like get them at the right point of it. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to just like only do it in the middle where it's crimped.
Yeah, and you can't really like shovel them. It doesn't really work well that way.
Yeah, and I know that 90% of the food you eat is shoveled.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the most efficient way to eat something.
What about like fusilli?
Yeah, like you know what? I don't like it. Guy. Too much. Too many spirals.
Oh, really? I think it's delightful. Yeah.
Nah. You know what? I like it. I don't like it. I don't like my pasta super simple, but you know, I there needs to be like a little something to it going on, and not so busy as fusilli.
Well, Tom, what do you like better, fusilli or penne?
I was gonna say I think penne might be my favorite.
What? This is disgusting. I was about to. I was trying to get common ground with you. I was gonna say like we can all agree.
Looks like he's gonna throw up.
Penne is freaking boring as shit. It's the most. Here's a tube. Here's a tube of wheat.
But it's got the grips on the outside.
Those grips they're just aesthetic. They don't help with anything.
Nah, they help. You put a bowl of penne and a bowl of noodles next to each other, and you have
they're
two guys
all noodles,
Tom.
They're
a
all
contest.
Noodles.
Well, a bowl of smooth noodles, and then you have two guys have a contest who can get the most out of the bowl in a minute. The guy with the penne is going to win every time.
Tom, if we're doing this, you are a fool and a coward. Or just a wuss. I'd say you're a wuss if you prefer penne to rigatoni. Rigatoni's like a man's penne.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like it. I'm looking at rigatoni. These large tube-shaped pasta pieces are rigid and often used in baked dishes. Their size and shape make them ideal for holding onto thick, chunky sauces.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Yeah, but that's for like
problem,
a baked thing. That's for like
not
a
exclusively.
casserole.
Not exclusively.
You're gonna have like
I'll make you a rigatoni
plate of
rigatoni
dish. And butter
and a meat sauce. Ooh,
you're gonna eat the meat sauce?
I'll make it.
That's
for
the other
you.
thing. I don't really like meat sauces.
Yeah, me neither. I don't eat meat. This is all moot.
I do eat meat, but here's the thing with most pasta. Like I'm thinking about what are those things called? Like the big rolls, stuff like stuffed shells.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm thinking of like stuffed shells, and I'm thinking of ravioli, and I'm thinking of I guess those are the two I'm thinking of. That's like they come in two varieties usually, meat and cheese.
Right.
And I prefer cheese 9 times out of 10 in any situation.
You like cheese better than meat. Everybody likes cheese.
But I've been in situations where it's like where the cheese is seen as the vegetarian option and it is not presented to me.
What? No, that's not true.
As an option for me.
True.
It's true. I got slapped. My hand slapped away when I tried.
Is it just because you were acting generally kind of boorishly at the time?
Well, I wasn't invited to the place where I was, so.
Yeah.
You left in retrospect, I understand.
You left out the best one, Tom.
What's that?
Tortellini. If you're thinking
I was
going to
guess that you were going to say tortellini.
Yeah, that's better than a ravioli. Because a ravioli, you cut it in half and then, like, half the crap falls out of it. Tortellini, you just eat in one bite.
Half the crap falls out of it. Just eat
it's
the
all
raviolis.
Flimsy and...
Flimsy? Then you're cooking it too long.
I guess
just pop the whole thing in your mouth.
That's gross.
Tortellini is very good, though. I will give you. Yeah. I actually, up until you mentioned it, even though it's on my list, forgot that tortellini existed.
Tortellini's great,
and tortellini is very good, and that's another like often cheese stuffed, piece of pasta that you're gonna like.
The ones at the supermarket that I get are cheese and spinach stuffed.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's, I haven't had tortellini in a while now. I'm thinking about it.
I'll make you some tortellini. I'll make you a nice dish.
Yeah, Tim. I'm not going to be able to walk away from the table after this big meal you're making me. You're making me tortellini.
I'd like to have you and Laura over for dinner.
Okay? And you're gonna make
maybe
every
one
type of
one
pasta.
night when my wife's out of town, the two of you can come over.
I don't know about this. I don't think I like this idea.
Nice tortellini dinner, a nice meat sauce.
Hey, honey, put on your Sunday best. Tim's invited us over. He's gonna make us a tortellini dinner. I don't know. His wife's out of town, but he insists. No, it's not a trap.
It's all on the up and up. It's all above board.
I was reading too about the song about Yankee Doodle.
Yeah.
And he puts a feather in his
etc. Yeah.
And called it macaroni.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where that comes from? What that means?
Is that anti-Italian American sentiment?
No. Why do you think? He put a feather in his cap and said, "Hey, look at me. I'm an Italian."
Yeah, pretty much.
No, Tim. Macaroni, I think it was used the same way. You know how you're always saying things are on fleek?
On fleek?
On fleek?
Yeah. Hey Tom, get the current cool
I'm
slang.
Sorry, I have a hard time keeping up with all the new slang.
It's not just for eyebrows anymore, Tom. It's for all things. They could all be on fleek.
Well, that's what the equivalent would have been if they came up with the Yankee Doodle song now. It would be he put a feather in his cap and called it on fleek.
Wow.
Yeah.
They'd call it chuggy. They'd call it they'd say the hat had Riz.
Yeah, they put a feather in his cap and called it Riz. Called it Rizzaroni.
Oh, well, now I understand.
Yeah. We should make a new pasta called Rizzaroni. And we could sell it to Gen Z.
I think the moment has passed. And also, I don't know. I've probably said this before. Let young people say dumb words and let's stay out of it.
I'm letting them. I want to sell them something.
No, you stay out of it.
No, that's what you do
let them
to the
talk
young people.
their
You sell
language
them
to
things.
exclude us and let them have it. They've earned it. Let's just get old with some fucking
I bet
dignity.
there's probably articles out there like why Gen Z isn't eating pasta.
Oh, there absolutely is. I mean, you've seen the why Gen Z isn't having sex, and
Yeah. Why?
It's because they don't eat enough pasta. They're eating too much pasta, actually.
Oh boy, I couldn't. I'm too stuffed.
They're all Italian?
Well, sometimes they eat so much that it turns them Italian.
Why is Gen Z turning Italian at an alarming rate?
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can find our social media links there, our subreddit, our Discord, and most importantly, our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide, where you can get Books the Podcast, all the back episodes of Books the Podcast, and more, including this week's episode, The Many Loves of Ben Affleck, Part 2.
Wow.
We did Part 1 last week.
You insisted on this. I think you feel like you didn't get he didn't get enough respect from us last week. In Part 1.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck. We weren't respectful enough and actually,
I thought you were talking about me, and I get myself confused with Ben Affleck sometimes.
I know you do.
Yeah, so he's
Sad.
asked us to try another take. You can hear that and a whole hell of a lot more at patreon.com/complete guide. Tim, any final thoughts about pasta?
Rigatoni is good.
You ever heard this saying, pasta lasagna, don't get any on ya?
No. What is that? Is that from a Weird Al song?
No, it's just, you know what? I'm saying pasta lasagna, don't get any on ya, but I'm thinking it could also be pasta lasagna, don't get any on ya. Because you got to be careful with the sauce.
It's like when in 4th grade, somebody in my class who was an idiot told me that the words to Weird Al's lasagna were just la 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 lasagna, spaghetti and meatballs, my favorite pasta. That's not the words.
What are the words?
I don't know. There are a lot more.
Well, I mean, there are other words, but aren't those words in that song somewhere?
I don't think so. I mean, he says lasagna.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. We'll get to the bottom.
Hold on. Don't end the episode. I have to quickly Google the lyrics to a Weird Al song.
Yeah. Lasagna. Weird Al Yankovic. Ooh, they have the single. La 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 lasagna. You want some lasagna magnifico or maybe spaghetti? Hey, you supper's ready now. Here you go. Mamma mia, bambino. Man, we gotta listen to this song. Yeah, no, the things that that idiot told me aren't.
I remember the line, have some more fettuccine, you getting too skinny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a pretty
you
good one.
You got to eat. I mancha. You get roly poly, a nice and a big, like you cousin Luigi.
Yeah.
All right.
Did like the Italian American League ever go after Weird Al for all that?
I think they saw it as flattering.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah. And
Maybe
you're
they should have
half
a sense
Italian.
of humor. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Italians, lighten up.
Yeah. No. The Italians have gone woke. They're coming after Weird Al.
All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.